Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video here on the channel today. Today we're back with something a little bit different. We had career mode yesterday to make up for no upload on Wednesday. There hasn't been an upload on Wednesday because it was too damn hot to sit here and edit and stuff, but it has eventually cooled down here in the UK. Massive storms last night as of recording. This was Friday the, what are we on, 14th of August. But today we're back with a different sort of video. It is coming towards FIFA 21. It is coming towards the end of the season. Unfortunately, I didn't get access to the FIFA 21 closed beta like I did last year for the FIFA 20 beta, even though I can't sort of share anything sort of information wise with you in regards to that anyway. So I thought today we would do the Manchester United FIFA 21 player rating predictions. Now, I know there are still 2 games left of the season, but I don't think it's really going to swing the player ratings. These are just predictions, and once the Europa League final has finished and the season is completely done with, I'll do sort of my Manchester United end of year review / player ratings. Players who I think should leave or should go by that time. They may have already gone, or they may have already committed to a new contract, which I do not want. But let's just jump straight into it then. So hopefully I've got this PowerPoint to work. It is a PowerPoint that I've got. And surprise, surprise, it's not working. What do we got here? Here we go. So, first things first, is we have David De Gea. So, 89 rated at the moment. He's had an okay season, you know. So I've kept him at a ±0. I haven't done anything for him. I think he'll stay at 89. If he gets downgraded to an 88, I think that is quite unfair, because he has had a decent season. It's just not been one of his best. But David De Gea for me stays at an 89. We'll go on to our number 2. Why is it showing that? I don't know. But De Gea goes and Romero comes in. This is Sergio Romero here today. And again, he's had an okay season, but I wouldn't say the chances he has given he's been that great. So for me, again, I've given him a ±0. I've kept him at an 80 rated. The only reason for that being is that he hasn't actually been any of our tough games. You know, he has very good stats as a United player, but he doesn't play in any of the important games, which is why I've had to keep him at that. Moving on to the next player, we do have Dean Henderson. I don't know why David De Gea is chilling there all the time. I'm not going to go back and fix that right now. But Dean Henderson is the next player, of course, just coming back from loan to Sheffield. Will he still be a United player at the start of the season? Will he be loaned out? Will he be sold? I don't know. But from the season that he's had with Sheffield, I think it's only right that we give him quite a hefty upgrade. I've given him a +5. Some of you might be thinking, whoa, hold on a second. But this guy's had an amazing season with all the hype. I can see him getting close to an 80 rated in FIFA 20 for sure. And I don't know why that's still showing. Why am I doing this to myself? This is Lee Grant, not Dean Henderson. Lee Grant, of course, I've just put him a -1. He's getting older. He hasn't really played that many times. I think he'll be a 71 rated. But moving on to the defence, we do have Brandon Williams. Of course, a 66 rated at the moment. A breakout season for him. So I've actually given him a +9 to take him to a 75 overall. I think I'd be happy if they gave him a 74, 75. I was tempted to put a 74, but I thought, you know what? He's had a pretty good season, so a breakthrough season for him. I'm going to bump him up to 75. Again, we'll see how many of these predictions we actually do get right. Official ratings aren't out as of yet, so we can't compare them to that, so I haven't done any cheating or anything. But on to the next one, we have got Luke Shaw, who comes into the fold. Again, had a very, very good season. Unfortunately, won't be seeing him in the next 2 Europa League games, which is really, really disappointing, because you need that left-footed left-back for me. Which is why I've given him a +2 to take him to an 83 overall. I think he deserves that 83 overall. And you can see the difference in the team when he's not there. So, yeah, I'd give him a +2. I'd take him to 83 next season. Chris Smalling, of course, coming back as a Manchester United player. Will he still be a Manchester United player at the start of the season once the transfer window has ended? I don't know. But he's actually been one of the better defenders in the Serie A this season. Hence, I've given him a +1 overall to take him to an 81 overall. I wouldn't be against us keeping Chris Smalling. I think the whole Jadon Sancho saga, will he come, will he not? I hope that we can get the deal over the line. You know, we don't have a great connection with Borussia Dortmund. We missed out on Haaland, we missed out on Jude Bellingham. The board need to get this Jadon Sancho deal over the line. But we need to just pay them the money. You know, we can't just beat our chest going, we are Manchester United. We are a fantastic club. We're the best in the world. We haven't been the best in the world for 6 or 7 years. You know, so we do have to sort of just, you know, Borussia Dortmund are hard bargainers. You know, they tried, Barcelona I'm sure tried to move the price on Ousmane Dembele. They couldn't, they had to pay full price. The same with Arsenal with Aubameyang and all their other stars. So I think we will have to pay the money for Jadon Sancho in a 3-year instalment, and I think it'll be something along the lines of 80 to 90 million this year, and then a further additional 20 and then 10 in the second and third year there. But we got Marcos Rojo next then, 78 overall. Again, I doubt he's going to be a Manchester United player at the start of this season. With that being the case, I have given him a -2. Well, I've given him a -2. He's aging. He hasn't really, I don't know how well he's that good. He's gone over to Argentina to play. So yeah, I've given him a -2. He'll be a 76 overall for me. Next player, we've got AXEL TUANZEBE, or TUANZEBE, however well you want to pronounce it. For me, he's been too injury prone to give him, you know, a really, really good upgrade. From the little games we saw of him, he was quite good. So I've actually been rather generous and given him a +1 to his overall. I've given him nothing more because I don't think he deserves it. He spent a lot of the season now on the injury side, on the touchline injured. So for me, he only warrants a +1 merely because he's a young, promising player. But on to the next one, we do have Eric Bailly, however you want to pronounce it, 80 rated at the moment. And again, a season plagued of injury, so I can't really give him anything at all. You know, for the games we've seen him, he's been okay. He hasn't been fantastic. He was okay in the Copenhagen game. But he's been out injured too much, so I can't. He doesn't warrant a downgrade because we haven't seen enough of him. But he doesn't warrant an upgrade because he hasn't played. But on to the next one then. We have got Victor Lindelof. He's had a good season. Unfortunately, I think him and Maguire just don't really work in the same sort of partnership in terms of how they play. But I've given him a +2. That'll take him to an 83. I think he deserves a +2 after this year. You know, Manchester United defence, I'd say, has been probably the best it has been in a good few years. Maybe since, you know, Rio and Vida or Nemanja Vidic left. But there we go. +2 for Lindelof. And our skipper, Harry Maguire, the captain, I've given him a +3. I think he'll go to an 85. I was tempted to go for a +4 to take him to an 86, but I don't think he's quite warranted it. He has been a little bit slapdash sometimes this season, but I put that down to fatigue because we don't really have anyone to rotate him with. He wants to keep playing for the team. He wants to be that leader. I applaud him for that. And hopefully he has another good season this year. So +3 for Harry Maguire. Phil Jones, the club legend Phil Jones. What a season he's had, eh? He's had very little appearances. The appearance he has had, and he got a goal against in the EFL Cup against Tranmere. Was it Tranmere played? I think it was. But a shocking season for me, and he gets a -2 for me. I don't like it. And he goes down. I was tempted to give him a -50 or something and take him down to a 29, but I'll be realistic. I think he'll go to a -2 then, go down to 77. Aaron WAN-BISSAKA, for me, would probably be our player of the season if it wasn't for his last few games. But again, for me, that is because of fatigue and burnout. And for that, I think he warrants a +4 upgrade, taking him to an 83 overall. He's had a very, very, very good season. On to the next one, we do have Timothy FOSU-MENSAH. Now again, a very, very good player. He's kind of been in and out, hasn't he? He's been in and out. Old Timothy Fosu. He's had a couple of games. He's looked okay. I've given him a +2. I've warranted him a +2 to take him up to a 75. Just because I don't... He's a good rotation player. I think he's proved that in the few games he's played at the end of the season. So I've given him a +2 to take him back up to a 75. Maybe I should have put him at a 74. I don't know. But Diogo Dalot, or Dalot, the next one, 75 overall. Hasn't really featured for Manchester United this year. Not really in Ollie's plans. I would presume he'd probably be on loan and or sold at the end of the transfer window. And for that, I've just given him a +1 just because he's a young, promising player. Moving on into the midfield, we have got our first one, Dan James. Dan James' this season, I'm not going to, again, I'll go into more depth in regards to their season in the end of season review for Manchester United, where I'll do the player ratings. This is merely based on what I think their FIFA rating will be. He's had an up and down season, started off with a bang, kind of slumped off. I think, again, just overplayed, not getting the ball enough, really. A little bit naive in regards to what he does. I think this year will be the season where he needs to prove whether or not he's going to be that Manchester United quality player. And for that reason, I've only given him a +1. Next player, we do have Andreas Pereira, a player who does, it looks like he could be on his way out. He's had plenty of chances this season, not taking any of them. I think he's been probably one of our worst midfielder, and for that I've given him a -1, taking him down to a 76. I think it's warranted, really. I was tempted to give him a 75, but I've been generous. I've given him a -1 there. On to the next player, we do have Scott McTominay, 77 overall at the moment, and again, a player who's had a very up and down season. He's had games where he's good, he's had games where he's okay, and he's had games where he's bad. And for that, I've given him a +1 again. He's a promising player. He hasn't done anything this season to warrant the +1, apart from being promising. So for me, just a +1 for Scott. And again, this season could be a make or break for him as well. As well as this guy, Fred. Fred, for me, before Christmas, was firing on all cylinders. Then we got Bruno Fernandes and Matic came back into the team. And he hasn't really taken... He's been okay when he's been given his chances, but he's not really done anything where, you know, he's knocked on the door and said, yo, I can be the number 2, or pushing Nemanja Matic for the CDM spot. Because I think the way we're playing McTominay and Fred is the wrong way round. I think Fred should be a CDM, and I think McTominay be better as a box-to-box, similar to Pogba. But for Fred, I've given him a +2. I think he's had a pretty good season. Much improvement upon the last. So yeah, Fred for me goes to an 81. Nemanja Matic, again, for me, gets a +2. Based on the first half of the season, I couldn't warrant him a +3 because he wasn't very good. But the second half of the season, post-lockdown, he's been absolutely vital to Manchester United getting into 3rd place. And I think he deserves at least a +2 upgrade for that. Juan Mata, I have kept him... Whoa, why is it not doing that? I've kept him the same. Why have I kept him the same? Well, he's aging. I don't think he's had a bad... Well, he's been underwhelming. He's had games where he's been okay. When you have an okay season and you're aging, he might go down to an 81. For me, I'd keep him at an 82. Jesse Lingard at an 82 at the moment. I've put him down to an 80. No offence to Jesse Lingard, you know, but over the last 18 months, he has not been good enough. It does appear like he is in the manager's plans and is going to be staying. If so, you know, I'll support him. I'm never going to get on a Manchester United player's back unless he's absolutely dreadful. But, you know, this season, if he is going to stay, he really needs to show that he's going to be a good bench player off the bench and come on. Is he going to push Bruno Fernandes? For me, he's nowhere near Bruno Fernandes quality. But he does need... I've misspelled his name as well. I put Ligard, not Jesse Lingard. Oh, well. But there we go. -2 for him. Bruno Fernandes, 85 overall at the moment. And for me, the best player we have in this club. In terms of FIFA rating, I think I would give him a +3. I think I'd take him to an 88 level with Pogba in regards to the midfield. He deserves an upgrade, whether it be a +2, +3. He's the second best creative midfielder in the Premiership behind Kevin De Bruyne. I don't care what anyone else says. He's number 2. He's got age on his, he's got 5 or 6 years on Kevin De Bruyne as well. Let's not forget that. And I'm very, very excited to see what he does next season. So +3 for Bruno. And Paul Pogba, I've kept the same. I've kept him at a an 88, merely because he hasn't played enough to warrant a downgrade or an upgrade. For me, he's been injured. How can you downgrade a player who's been injured? It's not his fault, but since he has returned from lockdown, or post-lockdown games, he has been very, very good. And hopefully, cross fingers, does sign another contract with us as well. On to, what is it doing? What is that? On to the next player, we've got James Garner, just because he has an all. If any players that have featured for us this year haven't got an Ultimate Team card, I haven't done them. But for Garner, he's had a few good games in the Europa. I've given him a +3 just to take him to low silvers. The same with Tahit Chong. I've given him a +3 just because he's managed to get in a few games. And he's a young player and does appear that he could be loaned out. I think both those players should be loaned out. We got ODION IGHALO. I've kept him at 77 as well. He's come in as really as an emergency. He's had a few good games, but I don't think he warrants a +1. Mason Greenwood. Now, I've given him a +13. You might be thinking, what the fuck are you doing? How overhyped is this guy? You're telling me that Mason Greenwood isn't an 80 rated player. You're telling me that Mason Greenwood isn't as good as Jesse Lingard. He's a fantastic player. So if this man, this is how fucked FIFA is. If Mason Greenwood gets a lower overall card than Jesse Lingard, FIFA's fucked. You know, it is FUCKED, fucked. I think Mason Greenwood bursts out the scene, hits us up with an 80 rated right winger card, and I think he'll be perfectly good for that. Marcus Rashford, he's had a good season. Unfortunately, did get that injury. Since he's come back from the injury, hasn't hit what he was the 2 or 3 months before the injury. With that, I've only given him a +2, taking him to an 85. And last but certainly not least is Anthony Martial. For me, our player of the season, has had an absolutely fantastic season in centre forward. Had about 4 or 5 weeks off injured as well. For me, player of the season, and for me, it takes him to an 86. I've given him a +3 for that. And that is the end of the players. So I don't think I've missed anyone out there. Again, some of our loanees I have missed because I just don't really want to see them at the club anymore. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one then, guys. Hopefully you did all enjoy this one. If you did, make sure to smash a like on it. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on as well. I've been David. This has been my FIFA 21 Manchester United player rating predictions. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you get your merch. It's in the description down below. I'll also be going live tomorrow as well on Fall Guys. That'll be on, I think I'll do it Saturday night. So tomorrow night we'll go live on Fall Guys. As I said, that's where we're going to end it. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.